The question that unlocks the mystery. What if our ancestors knew more about the Earth than we think? Imagine lifting stones weighing dozens of tons. No engines, no machines, no GPS. Now imagine doing that with a precision that challenges the limits of modern geometry. Could there have been a hidden code, an invisible pattern connecting these massive works across continents and millennia? The world is full of mysteries carved in stone, alignments that defy chance, measurements that repeat with unsettling accuracy, structures that have stood the test of time as if they served a purpose beyond mere shelter or ceremony. Among these enigmas, a curious detail emerges, quiet yet powerful, an ancient and mysterious unit of measurement known as the megalithic yard. Discovered by Scottish engineer Alexander Thom, this unit appears with incredible precision at archaeological sites across Europe. But the most intriguing part isn't its presence, it's what it might mean. This is where our investigation begins. A strange measurement, a suspicion of forgotten knowledge, and a provocative question: did our ancestors know much more than we assume, or more than we're ready to accept? The mystery of ancient structures. How do we explain that civilizations separated by oceans, mountains, and thousands of years built structures so similar? From Stonehenge in England to Karnak in France, from Göbekli Tepe in Turkey to Mayan temples in Mesoamerica, megaliths emerge like a silent language of ancient humanity. These constructions defy simple explanations. Many are aligned with the winter solstice, the spring equinox, or prominent stars in the night sky. How did they gain this astronomical knowledge without telescopes? How did they move 50-ton stones without wheels or forged iron? At Göbekli Tepe, dating back over 11,000 years, we find pillars carved with animal figures in geometric patterns that suggest complex symbolic understanding. In Egypt, the Great Pyramid's alignment with true north still baffles modern engineers. And in Teotihuacan, Mexico, we find alignments with Venus and mathematical proportions echoed in other cultures. All this points to something more than coincidence. Could these cultures share a common origin? Or did they have access to a body of knowledge that has since been lost? A strange measurement, the megalithic yard. In the 1950s, engineer Alexander Thom began an obsessive journey through megalithic sites in Britain and Europe. He wasn't an archaeologist, but what he found would change how many view archaeology. Thom carefully measured hundreds of stone circles, ritual lines, and ceremonial structures, and he found a pattern, an exact unit of measurement: 2.72 feet, or 0.829 meters, repeating with surprising consistency. He called it the megalithic yard. Even more intriguing, this unit seemed to reflect mathematical constants like pi, and the square root of 2, suggesting a level of sophistication not typically associated with the Stone Age. Was it a coincidence? A case of biased interpretation? Or could there be a lost science encoded in those stones? The megalithic yard raises a troubling question. How did such a precise unit emerge in an age without writing, paper, or modern measuring tools? And why does it appear in structures from vastly different regions and time periods? Global connections and the lost language of measurement. The megalithic yard is not alone. Ancient civilizations used units like the Egyptian cubit, the Sumerian rod, and the Druid inch, many of which seem to share proportional relationships. Some researchers have shown that the megalithic yard can be mathematically related to the Royal Egyptian cubit. Many of these systems reflect patterns like the 3-4-5 Pythagorean triangle or the golden ratio. Is this all just a mathematical coincidence? Or are we glimpsing remnants of a universal language of measurement lost over time? This hypothesis gains strength when we see structures repeating similar proportions, from the Great Pyramid to Chartres Cathedral, from Angkor Wat to Incan observatories. Geometry in this context becomes a silent language, a shared code of lengths, angles, and resonances. What if this code was inherited from an earlier civilization, now forgotten? Earth as an instrument and the frequency of stones. Another idea that emerges from this research is the relationship between monuments and the Earth itself. Many megalithic sites are aligned with so-called ley lines, hypothetical energy paths crisscrossing the planet like meridians. These lines often correspond to natural magnetic fields and, according to some researchers, may have been used for navigation, communication, or even healing. Recent studies show that some stones emit acoustic resonance when exposed to specific frequencies, amplifying sound and creating standing waves. The Hal Saflieni hypogeum in Malta is famous for its perfect underground acoustic resonance. Were our ancestors building megalithic instruments, tools for connection between body, mind, and planet? The idea is bold, but intriguing. Maybe these stones weren't just memorials, but resonators of planetary energy. A lost civilization, or something even older? Many myths tell of civilizations that vanished in time. Atlantis, Mu, Tartaria. Are they just legends or echoes of real memories? The Sumerians spoke of the Anunnaki. Egyptians spoke of the Netjeru. The Maya told of star gods. Nearly every ancient culture describes beings who brought knowledge, measurements, language. And what of the great floods? Universal stories of cataclysm ending entire eras. What might have been lost? Perhaps the megalithic yard is just a leftover fragment of a much bigger puzzle. Maybe our ancestors weren't primitive, but heirs to something even older. And what if some of that knowledge came from beyond? A controversial theory, yes, but one that lingers. After all, what separates mythology from history? But time and evidence, critics, skeptics, and what science says today. Not everyone is convinced. Many archaeologists accuse Alexander Thom of confirmation bias, seeing patterns that aren't there and ignoring inconsistent data. They argue the megalithic yard is a statistical fluke. The measurements, they claim, aren't as precise as Thom suggested. On the other hand, modern laser surveys have confirmed that certain alignments, like those at Stonehenge, are more precise than once believed. The debate continues. But one thing is clear, there's much we don't yet understand. And maybe between skeptics and believers, the real value lies in continuing the investigation. What are we forgetting to measure? We live in a world obsessed with data, with information, with digital precision. But what are we forgetting to measure? Maybe our ancestors weren't just trying to measure the world. Maybe they were trying to align with it. The megalithic yard might not be a definitive answer, but it is a powerful question. A question that still echoes like ancient stones through the valleys of time. Maybe we're not just measuring stones, but trying to rediscover our own origins.